Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly Books True Crime. I hope you can all hear me. Today, I'd like to welcome a very special guest, a retired NYPD lieutenant with more than 21 years of experience working in all the boroughs of New York, a published author with one of his books selected for the FBI's Academy Library, a drug-busting, street crime elite supervisor, badass guy with a giant heart. Welcome, Lieutenant Peter Pranzo.
Thank you so much. That's a great intro, Gisela. Very kind words for an old guy. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you. We planned this, guys, when I was still there, at the 600 subs. So this is amazing to have you on here now with all the Grizzlies in the house. Hello, everyone. I see your comments. As you know, I'm conducting an interview, so I'm focused here. But thank you to my mod squad who are monitoring the chat for me. Thank you so much. So the very first question, which is very important for every New Yorker, is how do you drink your coffee?
I take coffee with a little milk and sugar, but I prefer tea. Tea is okay in the morning. Yeah, a little coffee and some tea.
Right, we just had to hear you say coffee.
Co-op? Yeah,
coffee. I love that.
It's another New York guy here.
Right?
I know.
Yep. So, when you were a kid, did you dream of working in law enforcement? Is that what you always wanted to do?
When I was about 10, 11, 12 years old, I belonged to the Police Boys Foundation, Police Boys Club. And I played baseball and basketball and such, and we had police officers, and they would guide us along. They represented us, and the different managers for the teams were all different cops. So I got my taste of it a little bit, and they were very kind to all the young people. And I saw them in uniform at the trophy nights when they gave the trophies out. And I said, that's not a bad job. I said, that looked okay. I'm thinking about being a manager and stuff like that. Not thinking what police do. Just say the uniform looked pretty cool,
Right. Uniform, trophies.
Yeah, it was okay for a kid. Yep.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. So tell us about your career in the 60s and 70s, facing the BLA and working in some of the toughest neighborhoods in New York.
Yes, I came on in 1968, and as everybody's very familiar with a little bit of history, the 60s were a very tumultuous time in America. You had the presidential assassination, we had the Harlem riots, we had the senator get assassinated, and then I came on we had the Vietnam War, which was very large demonstrations against the war. So the country was probably more divided then than it is today. And when I came on, and I took the test in 1966, I came on in 1968, April 3rd, and I says, okay, I was a construction worker for, a couple of years coming out of high school. And I says, there's got to be a better way of making a living, carrying pipes around. I was carrying plumbing pipes and all that stuff. So I figured I took the easy way. I says, I'll be a cop. That's how it was behind my mind. Took the test, come on in April 3rd, 1968. And then we went for orientation. We're sitting in the classroom and in the auditorium all day long, filling out all the paperwork. On April 4th, Martin Luther King got assassinated.
Oh, yeah.
I says, oh, my God. I says, got assassinated? What is all this about? I says, how does that affect us? Well, the next day, they gave us our gray uniforms and guns and everything else. No training. They just pushed us out on the street and lined us up on all the avenues, Manhattan and stuff like that. So we were out very early with very little training, and there were all mini riots around. And the country was kind of having a little bit of a problem around America, because of that shooting. But it was a wild time, the 60s and late 60s. Crime was really on its way up, and the Black Liberation Army, was beginning as an offshoot of the Black Panther Party starting in Chicago and such, and they were killing cops, anti-government kind of a situation, similar to what you have today, but the difference is they were very violent as far as shooting and killing cops,
Yeah,
and then they offshot into the Black Liberation Army of the people that I had to deal with, and they shot a few of my people and such, tried to assassinate me and wound up shooting my people, a couple of my people, And so we were on the hunt for the BLA, and along with 50,000 other cops and around the country, And it was a kind of a wild time in America and policing and such. Worse than it is today in the respect that the violence against the police officers.
Wow.
I always said police are always an offshoot of the government. So as the government goes, so police work goes. So when they see a cop, they see the government. So we hate the government. So we just hate cops, that kind of a situation. And I tell the young people today that it's a cycle. The cycle goes up, they love you, then the next cycle goes down, the cop does something wrong, like happened the year ago in Minnesota was the Chauvin. I call that the Chauvin effect, with the one cop, what he did, and that just set police work way back. Way back. And that's what started this whole movement to defunding the police and all that stuff. So it's similar to what it was. It's just that in the 60s and 70s, it was a kill the cop kind of a decade,
Yeah. Damn. That must have been so scary during that time.
Yeah.
Start off your career like that. Wow.
Yeah. You know what it is? You just get used to it. And we had no bulletproof vests at the time. And most of us only had the 6-shooters, the revolvers. So we were shy on equipment, no bulletproof vests, and people were trying to assassinate the police officers. So it was a problem, A lot of cops got shot. 11, 12, and 13 cops killed every year. And that kind of a thing. A lot of police suicides and that kind of stuff, So it was a violent, at least a decade, and it stayed that way for many, many years. And crime got worse.
Right.
Yeah.
So, 12-Step Woman says Lieutenant Pranzo is a hero.
We all know those good folks. Thank you very much, 12. These are good people. These are chat folks that we see around all the chat rooms, and they're a fan of yours. These folks too. I'm telling you. Thank you so much.
They found me probably from Police Off the Cuff. Thank you, guys. Right? Cross-pollination. We love you all. Wow. Thank you, and welcome, everyone. So here, this question is, Mark Chester asked us before, I'm glad you're on the show. Do you miss the force?
Oh, of course, especially when you get to be my age, you do miss the guys a little bit, but you go back to the parties. I've sort of kept in contact with the people that are still alive now. Don't forget I'm 75. So all the people who were older than I was, a lot of them are gone and passed on. A lot of them had gotten hurt. A lot of them gotten killed and such. But I do miss the guys, but I see them and we laugh. Everybody got so old, no hair, guys grossly overweight. So we laugh at each other, We talk about our ailments. Who's got this? You got that? I said, what are you kidding me or what? And these people were the real deal, like the cops today. They're the best. The young people today are the best. Young cops today. I love them. So the idea is I do miss it, a little bit of the work, and I wish I could be there back again and helping, and I think I could do things, to help them out, the young people. But I do the writing. So I write besides the books, and I write and I talk to the young people from time to time, and on the internet and everything else. So I try to put my 2 cents in, what's this old guy talking about? I give my 2 cents,
And we love your 2 cents over here. You're welcome here anytime to give your 2 cents.
Great.
We love that. So there must have been surely a fear factor at the start of your career in the work that you were doing. How did you manage to channel that fear to achieve everything that you managed to achieve before you were even promoted to sergeant?
You always get that little, like you were on the show when you came on today, you had the little butterflies in your stomach, you feel that little fear. Like you're coming on a show and whatever you're doing, and that happens to everybody in their job. So and throughout their life, you do get the butterflies. You still worry about it, when you have a family. I married Rochelle.
Yes.
You know Rochelle very well from the chats and such. My wife, 52 years. That's God. But
that's so amazing.
She's my best friend, Rochelle, But so you worry about your family, your kids. I had small kids and everything else, and that kind of a thing. And as the threats and the contracts came on my life, I always worried about Rochelle. I had to have her protected, and I had the county police out here looking in on her and the kids and
Right.
relatives and all that nonsense. So it sort of was a little bit of my concern for them as much as it was for me. And then you
Mm-hmm.
sort of, any job, you sort of toughen up and
Yeah.
and you learn how to protect yourself. But it's so hard to protect yourself from assassination, that kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, how did you literally dodge a bullet? Like, how did you literally?
Yeah, yeah,
That
a,
is
a
so
lot,
amazing. Dang.
yeah, a lot of ducking. When I
A lot of-
when I left, a quick little thing when my pop, I said he was a construction worker all the way until the day he died, And when
Yeah.
I told him, no, Pop, I'm going to take the police test. I think I can't do the construction work for 60 years. I says I'll never make it. He says yeah. He said, Pete, but they're going to be shooting at you. And I says, hey, Pop, I don't care. I can't carry the pipe anymore. He says,
Right.
I'll take my chances. But he was
Right.
right. He's right.
Wow.
Oh God.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. So when you were a sergeant in the mid 70s and throughout the 80s, you and your narcotics team literally took back the streets. Can you tell us about that?
Yes.
Yes.
I had arrived at the 32nd precinct. I worked on West Harlem as a young cop, and then all over. And I worked in Brooklyn. I worked in a lot of different precincts. When you have no hook, everybody knows what a hook is. No rabbi, so to speak. So you go where your police department sends you. You got no say about it. I didn't know anybody. I had no relatives on the job. So it's just you went and you did what you did and earned your paycheck and kept your mouth shut the best you could. So
Yeah.
when I got promoted, it's back to Harlem, but this time it was Central Harlem, the 32nd precinct, which was the best thing that ever happened for me and my
Yeah.
life and everything else. It was a very difficult time. When I got there, I met up with some good bosses. I was young and I was a kind of I don't want to say tough kid, but I was an active kid, young cop, young sergeant now, and I had a couple of medals and such. So my record was that kind of a person. I had the personality to go out and do it, and I took the guys out and made some arrests, some sweeps and narcotics arrests, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff in the precinct. And then the CEO came to me. He said, "Listen, we got some serious problems," and they did. They were killing people all over the precinct, all the drug dealers and all that
Yeah.
bad stuff. Drugs were all over and guns and everything else. And he said, "We're going to start a narcotics task force." I says, "You got it." I said, "Okay, I got the task force." He said, "Get 8 guys or the best you can pick." And we talked about the diversity of the team and
Yeah.
not to brag, but we were one of the very full, diverse teams in New York City history. We had
Wow.
4 black cops, 4 heroes, saved my life on many occasions. 4 black cops, I had 3 white cops, and I had 1 Spanish cop, and I was the
Okay.
Italian kid. I was the Italian kid, the young sergeant. And a lot of these
Wow.
guys were older than I was, and they had a whole string of medals, up to the chief. I mean, it was ridiculous. They were really the best of the best. And we went
Wow.
out in the streets and we kicked butt, so to speak, and the black cops gave us the sort of the backbone to being on the street and taking people off the streets, locking
Yeah.
drug dealers up, gun runners and shooters, and people would kill. We happened to, through Rita Webb Smith, who was a great community leader. She was
Oh yeah.
well known around the city. She was probably the #1 community leader around New York City.
Right.
A great black female, she must have been about 50 years old back then, 45 or 50. And she was a hero in her own right. And she gathered up all the community people and gave us all the tips and information. We started a hotline, and they didn't have to give any names or anything like that. They would call into the hotline that we set up at the precinct. We went to the community
Wow.
meetings, all the cops, and they gave us all on pieces of paper all their information. They gave us
Wow.
names and all that good stuff. So, and we said, we're going to take care of it for you. And we did. They were shocked. You give me the
Wow.
name, give me the guy. If it's legit, we check it out. We do an observation. We go into the observation points and such. We gave it a good sweep and a good look. And sure enough, oh, they're right. There's the guy with the red shirt. He's selling drugs. He's got a gun. The gun's under the garbage pail or something like that, or he's wanted for a double homicide or something. They give you big tips,
Wow.
And then, so we went out and we did what we had to do. We took them. Next thing you know, we were taking, 1,000 people a year, 1,200, 1,500 people a year off the streets, out of the
Wow.
buildings. We did sweeps. We did jumps, on the street, and we did cleaning
Yeah.
out the buildings. We cleaned out the buildings of all the drug dens. All the dealers were up in the buildings and they were selling. And then we had a lot of addicts. I mean, thousands upon addicts. The ones
Right.
who were in good shape, we took them, charged them, and
Wow.
carrying for possession and such. And then the ones who were sick, we sent them to Harlem Hospital, and they set up a whole drug clinic over there on behalf of us because we brought so many people in, and they did a wonderful job. They were helping all the real sick drug dealers, who, by the way, were from all over the place, from every walk of life.
Wow.
Everything. And you think of it, a nurse. We had correction officers. We had everybody ashamed that people were hooked, and we had a ton of old war veterans who were
What?
hooked on the morphine, from
Oh,
the
yeah.
war. People who got injured, PTSD, and they got
Mm-hmm.
injured. They started on the morphine, the morphine they gave you years back. They gave everybody the
Yeah.
morphine for the pain, and they had no jobs. They were sick, wounded, war heroes, and so we took care of them. Come
Yeah.
with us. You're going to the hospital. It's either hospital or jail. You take your choice. You're going to go on a treatment program. So
Right. Wow.
we made a lot of friends in that respect. Everybody knew us, and they knew
Right.
where we stood. Nobody could be out. If you're on the street, you're going to get collared up, and you're going to get
Yeah.
taken in. Period.
Right.
And
Wow.
all of a sudden, after so many years, the streets were clean. The
Yeah.
robberies, the shootings, no guns, everything came all the way down. And we felt we had a big part in that. And we hooked up with the Organized Crime Control Bureau. That's the down at headquarters. And they had undercover teams out there, people making buy and busts. They made some big buys. The DEA, we hooked with the DEA, and they did a lot of work, the Drug Enforcement Agency. So we really got because we were on the street. We were there. We got all the good info. So we took all that
Yeah.
intelligence info, sent it down to our police headquarters, and they disseminated it all over the place. And the guys, I have to tell you, the response from the DEA and the response from our organized crime, it worked. We were crossing each other in the streets. There they are, this and that, So
Right.
it worked out. The campaign was a solid campaign. We had all the community leaders together, and this Operation Drug Campaign spread citywide. I don't want to say that I'm taking all the credit. I
Yeah.
apologize for that, but it
No,
spread
no.
citywide. It knew it worked. We went from quality of life crimes, the minor crimes, all the way
Yeah.
up to this serious stuff. The murder warrants and shootings and guns and that kind of thing, and robberies, heavy robberies. So we did everything, and then it spread citywide. And then that style of enforcement spread
Yeah.
throughout the country. The country was so out of control that they were doing the same thing, and not just because of us, but they learned about enforcement techniques. Everybody shares the information, and we got a name for ourselves. We were in the papers and blah blah, all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And what we were doing, and the mayor gave out a lot of awards. So Mayor Koch was high profile. So every time he would give out these specialty awards that we got, it made news, and the country began to grab hold of it, and they were able to sort of stem the tide of high crime, to stem
Yeah.
the high, narcotics use and such like that. We were on the way. So
Wha-
everything came down a little bit, but not perfect by anything, because when the 80s came along, it continued. The city was
Yeah.
never clear until, I would say, the 90s, late 90s. Giuliani, the mayor, he was very, very staunch,
Yeah.
kind of a thing, and he put out the long arm, and it sort of brought the crime even down further with the tough PCs and chiefs of police, and it was a concerted effort, and it came down.
Right. Wow. This
Mhm.
sounds like it needs to be all turned into a movie. Right? You need to.
Yes, doesn't it? Doesn't
It really.
it?
This sounds like the
Yeah.
most amazing movie. Any
Sounds.
producers out there, right? Wow. What an
Yes.
amazing story. Goodness.
Yes. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope they do it in your lifetime. That actually they make a
Yes.
movie out of all this. That would be so amazing. Shout out
Yes.
to all the producers in the house.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Also, everyone from the Police of the
Yes.
Cup family. I see you guys. We got Marianne Gibson. We got MC's Audio. We got Joe Murray. I don't know who else. Princess Mish. Thank you so much for joining as well. This is awesome to have you here.
The
So,
best, Joe Murray, good friend, good people, all these good folks, Princess Mission. These are our great
yeah,
chat friends from your channel
yeah,
too now. They're your channel
yeah.
friends now, you know.
We're
You're
one big
doing very
family.
well. God bless you. You're doing very well. Really. For a
Thank
short
you.
amount of time, you're up there in the
Damn.
ratings. High, very high.
Thank you so much. Damn. Carving
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, yes.
Right?
Gisela, carving it up.
Yeah. So your last assignment was to the NYPD's Elite Street Crime Unit, which you just talked about a bit, where you supervised plainclothes undercover police officers who made use of various disguises, like a cab driver, street civilians, all while arrests were being made for violent street crimes, right? So my question is, while violent street crimes were in progress, as serious as this all was there also some funny moments, for example, with the impersonations and what needed to be done to achieve the goal? Was there ever like some funny moments in that?
Oh yeah. What
Right?
happens with that? We put these decoys on the street, and actually decoys pretending to be maybe a rabbi with a big
Right.
furry hat, uh, or a street person, a homeless person,
Hmm.
lying out on the sidewalk, and they'd be lying out on the sidewalk with a cup of pea soup, and they put a little pea soup on their shirt like they threw up,
Damn.
a couple of dollars hanging out of their pocket, and we put these people all around the city. We put people in yellow cabs, medallion cabs, and they worked all around the city. We put a bunch of cabs. The unit ran between 200 and 300 people, uh, about 200 on average, but probably on the high side, 300. And their goal was hunt down the gun people. It was like a gun team, and they went out
Right?
there, and everybody had to get a gun. Get a gun. That's all we don't want to
Get a
know.
gun.
Just get a
Yeah.
gun, bring a gun in, and you're good. And they used to have guns pasted all over the walls. And then we had the robbery teams, special robbery teams in there, people who would all borough teams. We had gun squads and such like that.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very anti-violent unit, and they were really, really made headway, and they were all we hit a precinct. So a precinct could be like 1 square mile, like my Harlem precinct was, or it could be a few square miles. But we'd saturate the precinct, load it up with these plainclothes guys, and kick butt. We get out there, and everybody
Damn.
got tossed. And these people, what's going on? Next thing you know, everybody's up against the wall, and they're taking guns and this and that. A lot of observations. These
That's
cops could
amazing.
smell. They could smell a gun 2 blocks away.
All
They knew
right.
who was carrying. They're in plain clothes. They're undercover. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. Fast, very fast paced. Not as deep into the investigations, but it was fast. Make the arrest, down at the court, get out and do another gun collar, get another robbery, street robberies, cab stick-ups, murders
Yeah.
on the street because you're in plain clothes. So you go to a violent neighborhood, or you go to Midtown Manhattan, and you watch the
Yeah.
people going to and from the shows, the show district, Broadway, and you hang out for a half hour, 45 minutes, and you say, whoa, we got some characters. They don't fit the scene. They're scruffily dressed. They're not cops. So
Yeah.
you got to feel for it. No race involved at all. You just look at them and see these people don't belong. I don't care if they're from upstate New York, the best areas,
Right.
but they can still commit crimes. So you'd
Mm-hmm.
see them,
Yep.
follow them around a little bit. Next thing you know, they would attack somebody. So what we try to do, tell the guys, look, try not to let it get to that point. Take them beforehand, because they got knives and guns on them. So I would
Yeah.
rather take the collar before somebody gets beat over the head, gets shot in the back. Some people nice going to the show. So get them. You see them, you know them, you get a feel for it. And next thing you know, people, they know the plainclothes people are out there. They see the cops pop out of the car, and they say, what's going on? Who are these people getting out of a cab, a yellow cab? Four
Right.
big tough guys getting out of a cab, get out and collaring people up, handcuffing them, and nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Right?
What is
Take
it?
a gun, take a big gun out of the waistband and throw them in the back of the car. Gone in 30
Damn.
seconds. Gone off the street. Then go
Wow.
back out again and do it again. So
Oh my
it was
word. So
it was a very, very tough unit, street crime, an elite unit. The best toughest cops in the city. And matter of fact, Bill Cannon was a street crime guy. He was a young kid. He was a young guy when I was there. Big, tall Bill was big, tall guy. Bill Cannon, good, tough cop. And he was there like in mid '80s after I had gotten there. And I was on my way to retiring. Bill was just starting, and then he went on to play his thing and made a sergeant detective, big shot in Manhattan North in the area and stuff like that. Good cop, but they all are, all Phil, Brooklyn Phil, and these people here, they all made their name, and of course Joe Murray, street cop, tough street cop. But we had some good times. We had a lot of fun, and we made and we made a dent in the crime. And I really feel bad about what's going on today. With the young cops, because they took a lot of it away from they were doing terrific, and like I said, they just turned on the police, and they overreaction, no bail, everybody's out. They closed down all the mental institutions because a lot of people are sick, so they belong. I tell you, not only that, the mental institutions, but when you close up the jails and you let them all out, what are you kidding me or what? So now you find when you make an arrest, the guy was just locked up last week for a gun. What's he doing now? He's got 7, 8, 10 arrests. I see these the young cops today making all these good arrests. I see it all on Facebook. And then they're out. They're out again. And so, the cops can only do so much. Open the jail cells up, bring the bail back again, mandatory sentences. Mandatory sentences are essential. When the player for the Giants, New York Giants, I don't want to mention his name, he got caught with a gun. The gun went off accidentally in a bar. They wanted to give the guy 5 years. He was a tremendous ball player, killed his career. And so the idea is that whether it was Mayor Bloomberg or whoever it was, they were locking everybody up for a gun, and they were getting mandatory sentences. So nobody carried a gun. You don't want to do 5 years. And if you got a gun in the commission of a crime, another crime like a robbery, you could do 7, 8, 10 years in jail. Come on. So so the crime, the word spreads. Now, on that same token, today, when they know they're not going to be held and they're not going to jail, well, crime pays, right? What do I care? So I'm going to I'm going to go out there and commit crimes, going to do robberies. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So you see they're making a dent in a different way, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to make their own dent. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. So that unit lasted. I retired, and I had gotten hurt, and I retired, and I packed it in. I was doing my writing and such like that. I started writing before I got in that unit, and then when I got in, I really started to write about the different things, police suicide and guns. We wanted the more powerful weapons and all that good stuff. So I began writing for all the magazines and newspapers, and I got hurt, and I had enough, and especially for Rochelle too. It was a lot for her, and I said, you know what? I couldn't go inside, so I said it's time, and I put my papers in, and that was it after 21 years, and I got a nice pension, and now I came home to Rochelle, and I started writing, and 3 books later, and here we are, But it's all good. It was a good career, and I have absolutely no regrets.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I still hope for that movie.
Yeah, we keep our fingers crossed. Things are in the works. We got a documentary. Hopefully, it may come. So on Harlem Raiders. So we keep our fingers crossed. That
I hope so.
Everybody's looking. Yeah, sure. So we'll see. Keep our fingers crossed.
Let us know where to send the Grizzlies so they can go and bother someone to turn this into a movie, right? Damn.
Exactly. Yep.
So Mike Cologne from MC's Audio asks, Lieutenant, you had Santos Valentin in your unit. Do you have any good story about him?
He is the best. He was the kindest guy. He worked in street crime, and he was.
Froze a little bit.
Can
you guys still hear me? Okay, you're still there. You froze for a second there. Okay, you're here. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So what happened? Santos, he was really a solid cop. So we sent him off to emergency service, and what emergency service, the E-men emergency service, do all the rescues, heavy duty weapons. They do a lot of rescues, and when cops get in trouble, they call emergency service. They come with the big, heavy SWAT team, so to speak, And they are really an elite group of people in uniform, the heavy equipment and shotguns and automatic
Yeah.
rifles and such like that. And he got in there and he did very, very well in emergency service. And
Okay.
our prayers to him, 9/11, he was in the tower and it came
Oh man.
down and he lost his life. And he was
Oh.
a good friend and he was out to my house. He was at a pool party and Michelle set up a whole party out there. We had such
What?
a good time and he was the funniest guy, a real
Wow.
kind-hearted guy. Everybody loved him, very
Yeah.
popular. When he
Wow.
died in 9/11, we were sick over it. And I knew right away. I says when they gave him, I made some phone calls. Everybody knew, and the names went around very, very quickly. We knew
Yeah.
amongst ourselves, the cops who knew everybody. We knew the 20, 30, 40, 50 people were missing, and it was very sad. And there were a few firefighters and things like that. So
Yeah.
it was a very, very traumatic day for everybody, for America. It was a very
Right.
tragic day. Lost a lot of
Yes.
people, a lot of firemen, a lot of police officers, and it was a very sad situation. And then Santos was a very, very good friend of mine. God,
Yeah. Wow. He
yeah.
sounds amazing, and I'm so sorry you lost him and so many others as well on that very sad day that we definitely will never forget, right? So we've got Joe Murray asking, another great show and amazing guest, Lieutenant Pranzo. Did you know Lee Pactor, who started out in the 32, then the 23?
Geez, I'm not sure. The name rings a bell, but I'm just not sure. Now you got to figure now, I was in the 3-2 like 40, 45 years ago. So a lot of these people, they think like I'm different age, different generation, but I don't really, doesn't really ring a bell, but I'm sure. 3-2, then to the 2-3. I don't know.
Okay. And I've still got questions too. Here's another one. Thank you for your service. Can you talk about your police combat cross? Yes, I've got pictures for that, right?
Yeah,
Let's go to it. Let's go to it, and then you can tell everyone about it. So let me put you like this, right? So we've got this. The combat cross, I think, is the last picture I've got here. This one, right?
yeah, it's the green on the left. Looking at it, I
Okay.
guess that's the left. Yeah, that's the cross. Uh, that was one of the traumatic days, and you don't like to shoot anybody, and but these things, unfortunately, you're put into a position where these things sometimes it does happen. I went into a raid with my team, the narcotics team from the 32nd, the Harlem precinct, and we went into the building, and some people took the sides and this and that, and I went in with Bobby Smith, one of my black hero cops. He saved my life that day. We ran into the building and we were chasing one perp. Knew he had a gun, and as the Bobby's in front of me, and we jump out the back door of the building into the alleyway, and the perp turns and fires 4 or 5 rounds towards us, and then Bobby fires back. I didn't have a clear shot. I couldn't get my shot off, and then we chased and ran to a schoolyard, him and Bobby, and I ran to the corner trying to get ahead of them, and I got to the corner, and I knew Bobby was out of ammunition. He fired a number of rounds, and the perp turns with his gun, was going to kill Bobby Smith, and I repaid him. I saved his life, and I shot the perp. I shot him,
Mhm.
and that's it. And Mayor Koch gave me and Bobby the combat cross a year later. And that was
Okay.
it. So that's the combat cross means, unfortunately, you're involved in a shooting, and unfortunately, you hit your target. Means you shot the perp most of the time, and it's a sad situation, but
Yeah.
it does happen. You make arrests, and unfortunately, that's one of them.
Okay. They say, damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to go through some of the pictures again. By the way, because we had 34 minutes now, do you have some extra time or is it strictly an hour?
No, anything. I'm
Okay,
here.
cool. Okay, I told my mod squad it's maximum like 90 minutes if we can do that, but I think we might need some extra time because I've got the slides to still show and questions to ask. Everyone's also asking questions. That's
Sure.
amazing. So sadly, you lost friends and or a friend, right? That's what you wrote, and fellow officers to suicide. I'm so sorry for your loss and that you had to endure that pain. You took that pain and made a vow to yourself that you would make a difference. Can you describe how you went about doing that?
Yes, I felt, I'm not going to put myself as a rebel or a martyr or anything like that, but after losing a few friends, and I did, but everybody lost a lot of people because everybody
Yeah.
in their precincts either attempted suicide or had family situations like that, or took their own lives. It's tragic, and usually every year, from my time on the job, and I even think today, we lost and do lose more people to police suicide than killed in combat, in
Wow.
actual,
That is
and
so
making sure that's,
shocking.
yeah, it's very
Wow.
sad. Military, the same thing, military,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just violence. And, you get, I when I wrote about articles, and when I kept sending the articles around, and I was a thorn in the police department's side, so to speak, because I felt they weren't doing enough. And by me writing the articles, I did it for the newspapers, I wrote it all the police magazines, uh, that set up more peer counseling, and they put up the posters. They had big posters in all the precinct about you and about how to go in and talk about it and call the hotline number. And you
Yeah.
didn't have to give any personal information up, but you could go in and you could talk to the different precinct peer counselors, downtown counselors, and you were sort of protected. At
Yeah.
least it helped, because if you gave yourself up in the wrong way, something happened, they took your gun and shield, your career was over. So our
Yeah.
contention was, no, don't take the gun and shield, like you're done with your life. So if you're giving yourself up and you don't feel well and you're thinking about suicide, overwhelmed with family situations, which happens to
Yeah.
all of us, people, you hear stories, tragic stories about the family situations and suicide in the family, and it actually hurts, because I've talked with so many families after a suicide. It actually hurts worse than if somebody died in the line of duty. I call it
Yeah.
line of duty
Yeah.
when they,
Yeah. I
somebody,
understand. Yeah.
you get the inspector's funeral, you get medals, the family gets really taken care of. So it's tragic to
Yeah.
die in a line of duty. It is.
Yes.
However, when you take your own life, it's like it was a blemish. It
Yeah.
became like something
Oh,
like terrible, and it's a disease. Like
yes.
drinking and such. And drinking is a part of it. There's so many different aspects to it. And I
Yeah.
began writing articles about it, and my conclusion was we all have these kinds of things, civilians and cops and military people. The difference is that, military people and police officers and such, number one, it's a violent job. So you're violent at part of it, and the use of the gun. And the gun is your friend that's with you every
Mm.
minute of the day. So maybe a lot of people feel overwhelmed, but they don't have the gun, you know,
Oh,
to
yeah.
to
True.
take
True.
their own
Yeah.
life. So
Mm-hmm.
the cops
Wow.
have the gun, that kind of a situation.
That me.
So
Yeah.
I wrote all the articles, and it made a big difference. Not just me though, but please, it's a lot of people, a lot of the PBA delegates. Everybody began writing in and trying to protect the cop on the street, and they came out with great counseling, and it did change. The job changed all around the country, not just because of me, but everybody became aware of the suicide situation with police officers. So
Yeah.
that, and then they asked me to do the book. Gould Publications, they were
Yes.
a big law carrier, like a big. They did all the law books and just like that, and specialty books. And they contacted me and they said, "Hey, Pete, you want to do a book for us?" And so I did, and I reached out to all the medical units for all the police departments around the country, including the FBI. And
Yeah.
so the book worked out very well. The FBI put it in their FBI library, and it made a difference, like required reading and that kind of stuff.
That's
So
amazing. That was the
yeah,
one, stress management for law enforcement. That one, right?
yes, it is, Gisela,
Yes.
exactly. And,
Yes.
and that was like, so I was, out of all the books, I was very proud of that because it made
Yeah.
such a difference. And there was
Yeah.
very little written about it years back. It's
Yeah.
like
Of
not a lot
course.
written. Nobody had any books on it. Today, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Military and police and everything
Yeah.
else. But so I was proud of it. And Rochelle, Rochelle,
Yes.
she was
Yes.
the co-author for that book, of course. She
Wow.
she she did a lot of things about the family situations, wives, and everything else. So, and
Yes.
of course, I can't type. So, she typed every word for all the books, every word.
Wow.
I
My
mean, I
word.
mean, hundreds of thousands of words. I mean, to do a book with 100,000
Right.
words, you got to
Oh yeah.
type 300,000 words. You know the story.
Exactly.
So you know how long it takes you to do an article. Now I can't
Oh,
type. So we're sitting
okay.
alongside each other, and I'm giving her chicken scratch on a piece of paper that she can't read. What is this? But she's the best,
Wow.
and she can put a book together in no time. She cleans this and that, and we argue about this and that, about the words. Oh, that's wrong. Got the dictionary out. You know the story. The old
That is
how to
so
spell
amazing
this.
though.
Oh yeah.
So
So
would you like write it out on paper and then give it to Rochelle, or would you sit
yes.
there and tell the story?
Nope, I would write it on paper, but I would tell her
Wow.
the story. We
Yeah.
brainstorm back and forth and talk about ideas and do a layout and then the whole 9 yards. And
Wow.
what do you think? And so that's nuts. This is good. This is that. And then of course she types like 110 words a minute. She's fast.
Right.
She puts a chapter together in no time in one night. There it is, done, clean,
Yeah.
the whole thing, and then we go
Done.
over it and we say, oh. But so
Wow.
it was kind of a good thing. But that was
That's
that
amazing.
book. Yeah, it was. We made headway. We do okay together for two old people now. Yeah,
Yeah, damn,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
amazing. So that one
yeah.
was published in May of 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been married for 52 years, which is
Uh-huh.
amazing in itself. And
Isn't
then you wrote
it?
two more after that, right? You wrote Behind the
Yes,
Shield as well, A Journey Through the NYPD, and Harlem Raiders.
yes. The Raiders. Yes, the best.
I've
Uh,
got it right
my.
here.
That's the best.
This
That's
wait, this way. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
way.
got it. Yeah,
I
that's
got
about
it.
that. That's about the diverse narcotics team that we had, and it's just hero driven. And we change the
Yes.
names, we change the names, we change locations, for security and safety
Oh yeah.
purposes and other things. A lot of people died, and a lot of people for security reasons. A lot of they want to
Oh yeah.
stay down now in their later years in life, and then locations and community leaders and stuff like that. So we changed a few things up. We changed a lot of the names. My name is changing there as well. Rochelle is the same, but it's essentially like 90% on target of what the
Yes.
narcotics team did and how the diverse team worked with the community. So it's not just a shoot them up, lock them up, beat them up, that kind of a story. It was about three mafia crime families who were bringing the
Yes.
narcotics over from Turkey and through Italy, labbed it and brought it to America. And where'd they go? To Harlem. Remember the old Godfather movie? So they
Yeah.
brought it to Harlem. They brought it to the Bronx. They bagged it up, and they sent it to the streets of Harlem and let all the Harlemites, all the young people, sell all their drugs, and the mafia would make all their money and stuff like that.
Oh
But
yeah.
so that's essentially what it's about: the three mafia crime families, and about the cops' families and how they struggled to survive,
Yes.
including my own family, and all the contracts that were put on. They tried to kill us, assassinate,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. So Harlem Raiders was it's doing well in the bookstores. God bless, thank God. You make a couple of bucks, whatever, more or less. But
Yeah.
it's nice and it's an accomplishment. And I sent books out to everybody. All the old cops are still alive. I said, here's the book. Hope for a movie, and they all see their
Yes, we
parts in
want a
there.
movie. Harlem
Yeah,
Raiders
it's all
movie.
good.
That's what we vote
Yeah,
for.
yeah, it's a great story. A lot of action in there, but a lot of not just like I said, not just a lot of action, but a lot of family stuff in there, and about the
Yeah.
mafia families as well. Where their mind was at about getting into the narcotics trade.
Right. Wow.
Today they glamorize things today with the mafia, but no, 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 no.
Yeah, no.
No,
No, no.
I can tell you no. When it comes to money, money comes before anybody. They kill
Oh yeah.
anybody for money. Money is their main object, whether it's gambling, narcotics, killing
Yep.
people, killing their own. But they'll take anybody out at any time for making money. That's for the
Yeah.
the money's
That's
the root of all evil. So that was, and I'm Italian, so I can say it. I hold
you're
no
right.
bones, no fear, nope, and I say it right out. But these were not good, kind people, and I for one never glamorized it, and that's it.
Yes.
That's just my take on it. But that was that's Harlem Raiders, and Behind the Shield is the other one, and Behind the
Yes.
Shield is the actual account of my story from when I was a young kid coming on the job, how I got the job from construction to getting a job, and all the things that I got involved with as a young cop right until the end of my career. Got hurt and got off the job, but all the way through, all the interactions, and that's a good book too, Behind the Shield. Nice story. It's an e-reader, and stress management is an e-reader, and of course
Yes.
Harlem Raiders is the is hard book now,
Yes.
only in hard. Yep,
That's the way it should
exactly.
be because it's ready for its movie. It's ready as a script. So
Yeah.
who would you want to play in the movie? That's a good
Well,
question, Marianne.
somebody would have, Marianne, thank you for the question. Great. Thank you so much. Somebody with a lot of hair, let's see. Somebody with a
Somebody with
nice
a lot
wrinkle,
of
yeah, with a lot of hair. I had hair. And then Mark DeMeo, Mark DeMeo. He said, nah, Pete, you
Yeah.
never had hair. No, I had hair 50 years ago.
We can show
Anyway,
them the slides. We can show them.
yeah, there's some hair there. I was a kid there, God almighty. That's a 1968 picture. Yes, that's a
Let's put you
1960.
like this again. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's a good view. So let's go
that's,
through some of these. So
yeah.
this is a great picture, and those are all your certificates and awards and things on there,
Yeah, a lot of
right?
those are community awards and department awards and all that good
Wow.
stuff. Yeah, a couple of pictures and stuff like
Is
that.
that in
Yeah,
your home in your home right now? That's how
yeah,
you wore
yeah.
it, right?
That's right behind me where the flag is.
Oh,
So
there,
when
yeah. That's
yeah, so now only when it comes
amazing.
up with the grandkids, and they get tired of
Wow.
looking at it. Yeah, they get tired. So, oh, yeah, I've seen that already, Grandpa. Pop, we've seen that. The little
Yeah,
ones are a little impressed, but then I got some big ones, college kids, grandkids, and they're good though. I love them all.
here we've got this one as well, right?
Yeah, that's
Grandkids. They've seen this all, but we haven't. We love to see it. Tell us about this one.
yeah. That's Commissioner McGuire and Edward Koch giving me the Combat Cross around.
Okay.
Geez, that was probably 82, I think.
Right, and
At
look
the
at that
Medal
hair.
Day, yeah, Medal Day ceremony. Yeah, that was very nice. I was very proud. Rochelle was in. Matter of fact, Rochelle's in the background there taking some pictures
Oh.
and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe all the way on the left side. Oh God.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, I can
yeah.
see. And I can see your moustache. I can see your hair there.
Oh yeah,
All
see those
dressed up.
mutton chops? Those mutton chops down there had long. Well, that's what you can. If you want to go into civilian clothes, you can blend right in, take off the hat, and you're good to go. And
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I was a young. That's Bobby Smith. He's alive. I talk with him from time to time, and he really, it's who goes through the door first. I'm going to tell you something. He was a tough kid. He's older than I was, but he was a tough guy. Fast, run like you have no idea. And this guy, Bobby Smith, he would push you out of the way to get in the door first, because somebody's got to go in the door first, And he, quick, long story short, if I could take 1 minute out, ode to him, really. Let me tell you something. You talk about a hero. That's why I put him in my team, because a lot of the guys, especially a lot of the black cops, not that they stayed to themselves, but it was very dangerous for them, because if they ever did put on plain clothes, a lot of cops, they would get shot by mistake, because nobody would see, couldn't recognize them. So a black guy in civilian clothes running around the streets with a gun out, he could get shot by not only a bad guy, but a cop could mistake him for a bad guy. So it was a little bit of a touchy thing. So, and I needed people like Bobby and a bunch of the others to get into the community, because I couldn't get into the community and make arrests and work with the community leaders without them. Now that young guy, Bobby Smith, I see it, Bobby Smith, he was working undercover, OCCB, narcotics, big stuff, right? They evidently followed him home, got wind of where he lived in the Bronx. He comes off the elevator, and he comes off the elevator with his family, kids, the whole 9 yards, pop, 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 and they shoot him in the elevator, right? That's his first one. Now he got involved with the shootings with me that we had gotten involved in, right? And then he got involved with another shooting when he was doing narcotics, and he got shot in the leg doing some narcotics undercover work. And then he got shot. To give you an idea about his career, he is going to retire now. He already got shot twice already. And his friend, a guy who was also in the team, Harold Davis, a good guy, solid, another black cop, was a security guard. He's retired. He's in the bank. The alarm goes off. He goes down to the basement, Harold. Bobby goes to follow him in civilian clothes. And a police officer comes, didn't recognize him, and shot him in the neck. So I'm just giving you the idea of how these things happen. It's just, so as dangerous as it always was for me, the black cops had, it was a dangerous thing. So when they work in plain clothes, Spanish and black cops, and they're working undercover, it's dangerous for them. It really is,
Sure.
Yeah, but
My
he saved my
goodness.
life. He saved my life, Bobby Smith, on many occasions. I love him.
Oh my
What,
word. Tell him we
oh,
say hi.
yes, yeah, he'll see
Yes.
this. I promise he'll see it.
Yeah, he's welcome here too. You can both
Oh,
be on
yeah,
here
yeah. Oh,
sometime.
he's got stories. Forget it. Oh,
Right.
oh, good
Here's
Lord.
another picture over here. So
Yes.
let me take myself off so we can see it nicely. There we go.
Yeah, I was getting the Honor Legion, maybe the medal for the Honor Legion Medal for Valor. I was getting that
Okay.
right there.
Wow.
Geez, that's 1980, maybe 1985 on Medal Day ceremony, and that was for the
Hmm.
Honor Legion. Yep,
Wow.
they
Wow.
selected. It was Cop of the Year kind of a thing, so they selected me. And this is getting the NYPD Medal for Valor. Me and Steve Rubino. Wow, what a good guy!
Wow.
Solid, tough guy. Another tough guy. He looked so nice and clean there, but he was a tough guy, big tough guy. So we got the Medal of Valor. We had a shootout up
Wow.
in the 3-2 precinct, and Steve was in my team, and we had a bunch of the guys. So we just finished cleaning out a drug-infested building. We took about 30 people, and we called a paddy wagon. We put 30 people in the paddy wagon. Okay, we're done for the day. We got a lot of drugs. It was a good hit. So let's go eat. Let's process all the prisoners. Let's get everybody washed up, and we're getting ready to go in. As we're getting ready to go in, two drug
Yeah.
gangs up on 145th Street, a block away, were in the middle of a gun battle. They were fighting over territory, over a marijuana shop, whatever the hell it was. And so they were shooting each other, bum, 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 back and forth. And here we are. And I turn around and I see them. They see us. They turn. They see the paddy wagon. And they all started firing at us, the two groups, And the
Oh my
bullets
goodness.
the bullets were
What?
hiding behind cars, behind fire
What?
hydrants, poles, light poles. And we're down. I said, get down. And then we load off a bunch of rounds. And
Wow.
so we got the guy with the gun. We got one out of it. The only thing on that day was one of the very saddest days of my career. And we could talk about it so many years later. It really hurt all of us. In all the crossfire, one of my guys called me Jimmy Davis. He has since passed away. A real tough
Okay.
guy. He calls me on the radio and he said that, hey, Pete, you're on the air. I says, yeah, I'm on the air. What do you got, Jimmy? He said, we got somebody down. I says, one of us? He said, no. I says, a perp? He said, no. I said, what do you got?
Oh
And I knew
no.
right away, a civilian. So it was a young girl, 18 years old,
Oh.
pushing a baby carriage. And
Oh
she
no.
got caught in its crossfire. It smashed her femur bone, cut it right in
Wow.
half, her femur in the leg, and she was
Yeah.
crippled for the rest of her life. She was crippled.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I
Wow.
didn't want to mention
Jeez.
her name. It was very, very upsetting for us.
Yeah.
And they
Mm.
gave us medals out of it. And it was a very sad situation. It was turned out to be, of course, it's a legitimate shooting, but it was one of
Yes.
our worst days in the team that we did that to another human being and a young girl at that, and pushing a baby
Mm.
carriage. Good Lord, it was just a
Right.
terrible situation. We don't know whose bullet. There were 80, 90
Yes.
bullets. Who knows how many bullets were fired? But it was
Wow.
a sad day.
Yeah, at least she survived though, right? At least she survived.
She survived. Yes,
that's
she
the
did.
silver lining. But yeah, that
Yes,
is
yes,
horrible.
yeah.
Yes.
We pray for that. I pray for her a lot.
Right. Wow. Let's see if there's a question there. You all need to write books and talk more. You'll write. Wait, where's that comment? It's like, you all need to write books and talk more.
There you
Right.
go.
Busy
Yeah,
writing. You got to write your next one. Are you going to write another one?
yeah. We'll do something. We'll do a sequel to this. I'm sure to Harlem Raiders.
That's
We'll see how
awesome.
Yeah, we'll do some extra. We're doing screenplays. You got to put all that stuff together.
Right.
Scripts and screenplays. Got to send them around. So we're busy. Rochelle and I. We, as old as we
Right.
are, we keep going and going and going. And you keep yourself busy.
Yeah, keep it going. I think there's
Yeah, we
another
do.
picture here. There's some
Oh
more.
God, that's street crime. Oh my God, that's 35, 37 years ago, and it's all young people, a few older ones there, and that's a motley crew, isn't it? Oh God, yeah, that's probably 37 years ago. That picture, street
Wow.
crime unit, that's the
Street
citywide unit.
crime unit.
I was a lieutenant there. I was even losing my hair there. I see in the middle in a blue shirt, yeah, with the dark
It looks
mustache.
awesome.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
can
stress.
see.
A lot of stress. Yeah, yeah. The hair
Wow,
just
I
flies
can't.
off with the stress. Yeah.
I wish I could point at it, but I'm sure everyone can see you, right? Right
Yeah,
here,
in the
blue,
middle,
the
right
blue
next to
sweater.
that
Yeah.
young guy. That young guy, we call him Chun, Chun, because
Okay.
he was the smallest guy in the unit, but he was the toughest kid in the unit. He was a karate expert. My
Wow.
God, what a tough kid! You know, he come out of nowhere. I said, well, let's
Right.
take this guy, take those two. He said, stay behind. And he take him,
Wow.
bang, 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 bang. Couple of kicks and throws, lock him up. I said, so he was like, hey, forget the big guys in the back. Let that young guy take care of it. You know,
Damn. Right.
what a good guy.
That is
Yeah, we had
amazing.
good friends, good friends. A lot of them are gone. A lot of those people died.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
But good
A lot of
times, good times, a good
yeah.
team.
This is at the same thing, street crime unit, a couple of squads there. Good people. Some of those people are gone as well. And Rusty Staub, I don't know who you know, Rusty Staub. He was the baseball player for the Mets. And every
Okay.
year, yeah, him and he worked with Barry Burns, a guy in there with a white hat. But him and Barry Burns father, Patty Burns from the PBA, they put together a widows and orphans baseball game at the Shea Stadium with the New York Mets. And we had all the widows and orphans from the police department and even the fire department. And they all came to the game courtesy of Rusty Staub and the NYPD and the street crime unit. We sort of did all the hard work, the heavy lifting for it.
Yes.
Oh, we got so many good people here, John Riley and
Yeah.
Race.
It looks
oh,
awesome.
God. Yeah, Kenny Dabrowski, some good Eddie Hammond, and the older guy on the left. What a good guy, gentlemen. And some of them are gone. Some of them are gone. Rusty Staub, of course, is gone. But
Wow.
what a good bunch of people, good bunch of hero cops. I was very fortunate on the job. A lot of good friends, a lot of good cops I work with, you know?
Yes, and
Yeah.
everyone says in the comments they are loving all these pictures. They love the pictures that you sent.
Oh, God almighty. Yeah, history books. Yeah.
Here's the
Good.
books, yes. And the one on the
Yes.
right is the one in the FBI Academy Library. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. So I would love to read all of them, right? I'm reading Harlem Raiders right now, everyone. I told you I'm hyperactive. It takes me long to read a book.
Yeah.
10 pages, go,
Yep.
go, go.
Yes, so am I. Join the club.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So I see you write
Yes.
books about every decade, every 10 years, right? So we're waiting for the next
Yeah.
one.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, it was
yes,
2019,
exactly.
2029,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, that's what I told Rochelle. We'll be 85. God willing, yeah,
Right.
we'll do another one. That's
And
yep.
then you'll be on the
Yep.
show still. I'll be here.
Oh yeah, you're up and coming. You're gonna have your own TV show, Gisela, I'm sure.
On the case.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So, and we've looked at this picture before, which you told us about on the right here. But this is you in your uniform on the left, looking so good there with your
yeah.
look at all the badges
Oh.
and everything. Is that the rack?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what Bill means when he
Yeah,
says
that's
polish my rack.
it's the rack. Yeah, polish my rack. That's the rack of medals, all that nonsense. That's Medal Day ceremony in 1985 or so. Yep. There.
The rack. Polish
the rack. Polish the rack in a good
Yeah,
sense,
if you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about the police off the cuff have a merch range. Polish my rack. We're talking about this rack right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Above the
So-
shields and okay.
Right?
all good
Sorry,
stuff.
I
Good
can
stuff.
show it again.
No, that's it. That's good
Are we
stuff.
good?
No. Yeah,
Thank
we're
you
good.
so much. That was so amazing. So
Oh.
let me ask you, what else have I got here? Okay, hold on. So what was your favorite meal or drink throughout your career? I wanted to ask what was your favorite lunch, but I feel like you were so busy running around, dodging. But I don't know if you had like lunchtime. So what was your favorite meal or drink throughout your career?
Yeah. Well, we couldn't drink legitimately anyway on the job. So maybe
Yeah.
sneak a beer or two, like after the night was over or something like that at the precinct. But everybody loved the Italian food from all the different restaurants, and we used to send out to the Bronx. I forget the name of the restaurant there. So the big thing was I didn't want these guys to eat too much because they had to run. So guys, have your coffee, load up on coffee, little
Yes.
sweets or whatever you want. But you can't have a meal before we got to go collar up. You're gonna make all the arrests.
That's true.
Because nobody wants to get arrested, of course. And these people, the drug dealers and gun runners and all that other crap. So these cops had to run, literally chase everybody down. It's like,
Right.
so they had to chase them down. So you couldn't eat. So I said,
You're right.
okay, after we made all the arrests, then we brought them into the precinct and then fed all the prisoners, gave them all some candies and potato chips, whatever, and some soda, plenty of sodas. and made sure they were cleaned up and put into cells and such, And before we started really doing the paperwork, we'd send somebody out for the food, and we'd order all the antipasto, all this, a little pasta, and we'd sit and we'd mange while we're doing all the paperwork. So it wasn't so bad.
Nice.
And we were on overtime. I can say that now. I'm retired a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They can't come after me. But anyway, we used to do it while we were on overtime. We had a big room where we processed all the paperwork, did everything, after the prisoners were put in. And on a few of the desks, all the narcotics and guns were laid on the desk.
I was going to say, it's all
laid out. All the drugs were on one desk, and all our food was on the other big desk, and we used to eat.
Damn.
And people come in and say, can I have some of that? What? You want the drugs or you want the cops
which
come
one?
in? I said, guard the drugs. Hey, no, leave the drugs alone. Hey, you want a piece of pizza? Have the pizza.
Right.
But leave the narcotics. Hey, man, look at that. Look what Pete's got. But we had a lot. We had a lot of fun. We really did have a lot of fun.
Okay. Have you been to that pizza shop that Detective Phil Grimaldi's family owns, I believe? Have you been to that pizza shop?
Was it L&B, I think, in the Brooklyn? L&B?
I think so. I think it's in Brooklyn, yeah.
No, years ago, we sent out for some food. But Rochelle lived right there when she was in Brooklyn. She used to go there all the time, my wife, Rochelle.
Wow.
For the folks in the audience. Yeah, all the time. She lived right there. And she was at L&B many, many times over there. And they got the top. That and Junior's cheesecake from Brooklyn. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they got good cheesecake there. But yes, exactly.
Yeah, New York has some amazing cheesecake. I remember. Damn.
Oh, yes, yes.
So this is a good question. Lieutenant Pranzo, what is and was your favorite movie and favorite music? And what did you do to relax after a long, hard day of working?
Yeah, the long, hard day of working is not like it used to be. So it's less work. We do a little writing, Rochelle and I, a couple hours. So we do a lot less in our retirement years. My favorite, I like all the Star Wars, and I love all that stuff. Star Trek. Yep. I saw William Shatner go up in a rocket today, and Star Trekky, and I love all the science fiction, all those good things. And I like all the serious films too, all the but I kind of like that, the Trekkie stuff and the Star Wars kinds of things. But and music. So music. Now music. Don't forget, I'm old now, so I grew up in the doo-wop era, right? The 50s.
Yeah.
So all the doo-wop music is our best. I love it, So we still, Rochelle and I still go to the old shows, and we still hear.
That's so nice. Though.
There's not many alive now. They got to help the people stand up and sing and give them the instruments. So we sit there and laugh. Like there's one guy alive in each group, But, but it's very, very fun. Yeah, so I like doo-wop music. I like all kinds of music. Everything, up the generations. Michelle's a lot more hip than I am. Yeah, that was good.
Right, but at least you still listen to music. Today's music is almost like electronic. It's like hardly music anymore. Right?
Yeah.
So this one I should have asked earlier, but how did you actually meet your wonderful wife? How did you meet your wonderful wife?
Oh, geez, that's a little bit of a funny story, because when I'm on Bill Cannon's Piece Off the Cuff and the other shows and such, we laugh, we joke around about it. But like in 1967, maybe, she went with her friend and I went with my friend. We went to the Tiger's Tail. And Tiger's Tail was a club, like a go-go club. Remember the go-go boots? If you don't see it, you're way too young. But they had the go-go clubs, and we used to go to clubbing, we used to go there, and the girls used to be up in the cages. And the go-go girls used to dance in the cages, strung up on the ceilings. So the guys used to get money. It was crazy stuff, right? Stupid club, kid stuff, Anyway, so I always tell everybody the story. Rochelle was in one of the cages, I says, and I picked her out of the cage. But no, she was there with her girlfriend, and me and my buddy picked them up. We call them pick them up. Is that okay to say that? So me and my buddy, we picked them up, and he married his girl, and I married Rochelle a couple years later. Yeah. Long story short, dating. We were made for each other. You got to have that.
And did you get married at the same time as your friend?
No,
your friend also. Different. Okay.
No, different times. We didn't want to ruin everything, be too crazy.
Right.
But oh God, yeah. So here we are, 52 years later. Don't blink; it goes very fast.
Right. How many children or grandkids?
I got 2 grown kids who are a lot older than you are. I have 2 grown children. See, my son is pushing 50. I think he's 49, and my daughter is maybe 48. I think 47 and a half, 48. And she has a little boy. and Benjamin. And then my son has 3, but they're big now. His kids are probably closer to your age. They're in college. I have a grandson from that, Peter, and I got Liliana, the granddaughter, also college. And then I got the other grandson, Anthony Jr., and he is, I think he's going to be 13 or 14. And then my daughter, Lorinda, has, and my son's name is Anthony, and his wife is Lori, and my daughter is Lorinda, and she's got Benjamin, young Benjamin, and he's the youngest. He's 6 years old, so he's still a little bit infatuated with this stuff, you know. I could tell him stories, you know. I used to jump off the roof,
he's there,
you know, that kind of stuff. You know, he's a good boy. He's the best. He's the youngest.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Are they all like in awe of your career, or because they're family, are they kind of like,
yeah,
right?
You know, if they come over, we talked. Oh, they read the book. They liked the book. Yeah, it's all good. But I love them all. They are. These kids today are somewhat. I think they're more matured than Rochelle and I were. These kids are very mature today.
Wow.
On a different level, and but I have good grandkids, good kids, and it's been a good life. I'm being honest. We're blessed, you know. So now we just got to try to stay alive to enjoy it, you know.
Exactly. Do that. We'd love to see you back, you know.
Oh,
it's such an honor to have met you as well.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
So the question I have here is, could you tell us about, because I had a little look, there's a link on your LinkedIn, right, about your business, PJP Information Guides Company, because I found that so useful. You have like police tests and things people can prepare for exams and brochures and things. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that's pjpinfo.com, and that's law enforcement, that's fire departments, all civil service careers where they could click off. And some of it is you can go right online and get it, read it, and some of it's hard copies of different tests. So if folks want to, so if folks want
to do
that, and if they want to do that, so it's good. And so I believe in civil service. You know, it's good. You're doing something good for your community, for your city, for your town. So whether it was firefighting, correction officers, sanitation, school teaching, you know, whatever it might be, police officers, court officers. So I was a believer in that you feel like you're contributing a little bit, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
I have military careers in there also. I have this test in there for military folks and stuff like that. So you can sort of feel you're doing your part. And I supplied over the years, for the last 40 years, all the different exams for all those different positions. And that's what essentially that small business is. You know, small potatoes, nothing big, but you know, hey, it supplements the pension. Yeah, you go on a vacation, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like it. I'm going to take some of those tests.
There you go. Now you do.
Get my detective certificate rolling. Be like A+, right? So what other interviews have you done? Because I watched a few of them, but where can other viewers, I'm sure they're all enjoying it so much. I can see the chat. So where else can they find you? On what other interviews? You know, on YouTube especially, or on the radio. You go to peterpranzo.com, right? Or harlemraiders.com. Just go there and you'll see it comes up, and not all of them, just some of the interviews I did over the last couple of years are there, and different things like that. And of course, Bills are there from Police Off the Cuff, and Phil and those guys, Mark DeMeo. And Mike Cologne as well, right? MC's audio.
Mike, geez, I'm glad you brought Mike. I did an interview with Mike. He is the best. He's up and coming. Yes. He
was on the show too. Yeah. Mike, you got to come on again.
Now, I'm going to tell you, he's a young guy. He's 21 years old. I think.
Yeah, I know, right?
22 years old. And he is smooth. He's cool. And he's good. As good as you, just about. Almost as good as you. Not quite.
No, he's a great interviewer.
No,
he's
he
great.
Is. Yeah, very matured compared to all the other guys out there. He's a matured guy. But he does sports. He's his mind. He not only does law enforcement, firefighting, and everything else, but he does a lot of sports shows and people like that. So, and you give him a fact, and Mike Cologne, he'll just come out of it. He's tremendous. Good guy.
He's got a memory. He's got a good memory. My goodness. Mike, thank you for being here. He's here tonight as well.
He's the best. Oh, hello, Mike. Geez, I almost forgot you. Thank God for Gisela. That reminded me. I don't want to leave anybody out. God. There's so
don't leave
many.
anyone out. Mike, that
No.
interview was amazing.
Hmm.
Is Lieutenant Peter Pranzo a Grizzly? Are you a
Yeah. Yeah, I
Grizzly?
think I'm a Grizzly. Yeah.
Right? I think you're
I'm
a
one of the crew.
Grizzly.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the crew of Rochella. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, absolutely. I think you were
Yeah.
there already when I did my very first interview on Police of the Cuff, right? I think you were there in the chat. I did
Yes.
one interview there, and from there, I'm like, I think I should start my own channel. So
Yes.
you were there from
Exactly.
the OGs, like
I
original Grizzly.
Yes, and I
Oh yeah.
remember that. I remember your first
Yes.
interview, and they says, "Uh-oh, they're looking at each other. Here's some competition. She's on the way up." You know, because who wants to
Oh
look at these
man.
old guys? Yeah, but the ladies like those guys. You know, they say, "Oh, he's
Right.
cute. Yeah, Bill." No, yeah,
Yes.
you know, but
The
you
silver
get time.
foxes.
Yeah, Joe Murray, the best.
Right, right.
Yeah, Joe
So
Murray.
now I know everyone wants to know, with all your experience and insight, what are your thoughts? This is a very vague question, so feel free to take it wherever you want it. What are your thoughts on the Gabby Petito case? We can talk about the Moab police, the laundries and how they're behaving, the fugitive on the run, or anything you want.
Yes. Now, what I'm giving you is my speculation, my 2 cents
Yes.
for whether it's worth. It's an
Good,
old
good.
guy, law enforcement career, but I it's a very sad situation. We try to keep it as light as we can when we discuss it sometimes, but if we the families that are involved were
Yes.
really affected by it. Even the Laundry family, where their life is over as well. Their boy's life is gone. For a
Yeah.
stupid mistake that what he did.
Mm.
But as far as from what I saw, and I don't like doing the Monday morning quarterbacking,
Yeah.
after the fact. But I saw the car stop there in Moab in Utah. I think that's where that car
Yes.
stop was. And they had a bunch of the cops and the female cop there and everything else. And they did, I thought, with what they had, they did the best they could for on the on-scene situation.
Yes.
Me as more of an aggressive guy, from my background, I'm very safety conscious. So my
Yeah.
first thing, I look at her and I size her up. Please go wait over there, ma'am. What's your name? And she looked very young too. How old are you? And just wait on the side, come out of there. And then, but when I see a guy, my first thing, I'm thinking safety. I'm thinking gun. So, and then I didn't like it when I can say certain things. It's okay.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did a good job. But he put the keys on the
Yes.
truck. No, I'll take the keys and put the keys in my pocket. Step out of the truck, please. Just stay here. Put your hands on top of the car. It's okay. Only because he's not under arrest. Just put your hands up for
Yeah.
safekeeping. Everything is fine. You're going to be fine. You'll be out of here in a couple minutes. But I have to think safety. The first cop that was on the
Yes.
scene.
Yes.
Think of it.
Right.
And then my mind spins, when you got, because it came over as a radio run, as a call for service. So with
Yeah.
that sort of a fight, altercation, that kind of a situation. And so it was something where that you could sort of do things. And the things you could do, certainly after the situation when more cops showed up on the scene, now everything is under control. You could start questioning him. You could start
Yes.
questioning her and stuff like that. And where you had made mention when you were on, I think it was a Bill show with Bill and Phil and Joe, you had mentioned the certain things they could have done was ask that question, are you safe, to the young lady, to Gabby,
Yeah.
and things like that. I agree 100% with what you did, and maybe I'm not sure if they did that. I don't think so, but I always ask two things. First of all, I'm thinking safety. I'm thinking gun. I says, you don't have any guns in that truck, do you?
Right.
In that van? No guns there, right? All right, no problem. Don't lie to me. Don't let me go on that truck and find a gun because you're involved here. Somebody called up, so I'm afraid I'm going to let you go. If you got no guns, we got no problem. You got a gun, give me the gun, you're on your way. So you
Yeah.
sort of lie to him, you know what I'm saying? A little
Yes.
bit.
Yes.
He says, well, I do have a gun. Oh, okay, don't stay here. You got a license for the gun, that kind of it. So it goes into, so I think of weapons, guns, knives,
Yes.
heavy narcotics, stuff like that. So you're looking for safety first, looking for safety for these two young people,
Yes.
for their own safety. Right now it's a push shove. They've slapped whatever they did, a little bit of fighting and all that
Yes.
kind of. So my thing is that the weapon kind of a thing, asking permission. If you ever, and I always tell the guys and the young cops today, if you ever feel uncomfortable about a
Yes.
situation, and you feel, you're worrying about your safety, your fellow cops, or the people here, there, the people
Yes.
around you and such, and you search and you did it wrong. All right. So, but you got the gun.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
you got him, you cuff him up, let the DA throw it out of court. But I got the gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I
Mm-hmm.
cared about. So I made a
Right.
mistake. I went too far. And you know what the
Yeah.
DA says? No, you didn't. You feared for your safety. You felt uncomfortable. Your
Yes.
years of experience, you've been around the block, you've seen so many gun arrests. So I always tell the young people, think safety first, the police
Yes.
officers,
Yes.
and make sure there's no weapons on there. One way or the other, get it done before you send
Right.
them on their way. And the
Yes.
other thing is what you had made mention with Gabby, that she should have been asked directly, and that's I say the same thing. And it doesn't go by age, so to speak. It goes by situation. Now she's
Yes.
young, but she's of age. It's her van.
Mm-hmm.
You check the ID, the van, who owns it, and you ask them questions, but a little faster instead of hanging around there for a half hour. A little faster. But I'm sorry, and I really mean that not to criticize them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's a little more New York style, and they work a little bit more relaxed style. And I would have asked her.
Right.
I says, and if I would have seen her crying like that, I'd be afraid to, let them get back together, of course. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking for her, I'll call your parents
Yes.
not because of age, she's of age. This is her fiance, boyfriend, whatever, but she was so upset. She was emotionally distraught, maybe a little immature in respect of the situation as I saw it. So I
Yeah.
would worry about her in
Mm-hmm.
any situation. So I would say my first thing, I'll call your parents for you. Here's a cell phone. Call your parents and make sure everything goes okay. And get her on the side.
Yes.
Do you want your truck
Yes.
back? It's your truck. What's he doing? He's driving and stuff like that. And he said, no, he wouldn't let me in the truck. Yeah, that's your truck.
You're
What do
right.
you mean he wouldn't let? What do you mean
Yeah.
he wouldn't let? When he pushed you
Yep.
out, he took your cell phone. He took your cell phone. That's your cell phone. That's your truck. I don't care if
Mm-hmm.
you're the fiance, whatever it is. So I don't want to press charge, whatever it is. So that kind of a
Right.
situation takes
Yes.
it to another level. And you had another level, and you had made the good point, Gisela, about a follow up the next day. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
expensive. To do that is expensive on every domestic call, domestic
Right.
violence call, but it would save lives, of course.
Yep.
And asking the question you had said, are you safe? Do you feel safe? And you sort of question her on the side, look, and then of course it's her truck. But I didn't like the idea of leaving her in the truck and putting him up at a
Yeah.
hotel.
Right.
It's a little weird to me, that kind of a situation. So unfortunately, it all took a bad turn, and we went to the services, Rochelle, because it was only a half-hour ride from here. So a lot of cops from Long Island and New York City, from all over, showed up. So we showed up there for the service
Wow.
they had, and we met Gabby's two sets of parents, so to speak,
Wow. Okay.
and we our condolences and stuff like that, and it was a very sad situation. We paid our respects because it made, and what they were saying, I saw in the news today,
Yes.
the Gabby Foundation, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It is making a big thing, and domestic violence, and you,
Yes.
as you've been open public about it yourself, your
Yeah.
situations of abuse and things
Yes.
like that. You know what you've been through,
Yes.
and you talk to, I think it's 1 out of every 3 women, and then the women in the chats, all the women there, oh, I was abused, I was assaulted, and this and that. I says,
Right.
as a guy, an old-fashioned guy, I said, what are you kidding me? And it's, what are you, all of this? He says, yeah, everybody in crappy
Yep.
relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get out of a relationship. It's a controlling factor, of which I felt he was a controlling narcissist. And
Yes.
I just wouldn't trust a guy like that. I don't trust a guy, with a young girl. But I thought he was a controlling narcissist. And I had a bad feel for it, but not to do anything different than what they did, other than what you had said about
Yeah.
doing a follow-up the next day. But then it was a span there from when that happened
Yes.
until, so they did stay together for another bunch of
Yeah.
days.
Well,
looked
it
at
was
the date,
15 days, but for 6 of those days, he allegedly went home as well, which is so
yeah,
weird when you think about
wasn't
him
it?
going home and then
Wasn't it? Yeah,
the parents
yeah,
sending, he's going back and forth, and then it's so weird. The timeline
yeah.
is just very strange.
Wasn't that terrible? And it didn't make any sense to me. And then when he got into Florida over there with the parents and such like that, I was uncomfortable with all that and stuff. And when the cops lost sight of him, even though he wasn't at the time maybe the prime suspect, the person of interest,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
which is a bunch of nonsense. This is the new soft approach to police work is person of interest.
Right.
He's your suspect, and he's your and he's your prime suspect. He's your guy.
Right.
So don't lose
Person
him.
of interest.
You two guys at one time. Don't lose them, please. Anyway.
Front and back.
Yeah,
of the house,
you got
right?
it. You got it. But but that was my contention. Small police department, but that's okay. That these things happen, you know. And did the parents help him? I'm sure, right? My guess. This is only speculation.
Yep.
They helped him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Joe and Murray will tell you the same thing. He's the attorney, defense attorney, besides being a good old cop. When it came to when he wasn't the suspect, after he used the credit card, they looked for something and they found that the debit card that he had used her debit card. So now you got him something to charge with a felony. You put a felony warrant on him and that kind of thing. Now, from that day forward, as far as I'm thinking, my legalese from way back, and Joe will probably be more explanative about it. But from that point on, any aid that they would lend to Brian would be criminal, aiding and abetting, harboring, hiding, whatever they did, or anything after that. If you knowingly help him in any way to get away, harbor him, hire him, so to hide him in that kind of a situation. But until that point, until he had a warrant on him, really, the family could have, I guess, helped him in any way they wanted. It wasn't illegal to help their son, There's something. But when all comes down to it, usually, hey, Joe, I see him popped up. Yes, Lieutenant Pranzo, right?
Right.
Thanks, Joe. Here, he knows. So he knows a lot more than I do. But anyway, so after the warrant came down on him, anything they do now, and that's why the lawyer came out, no, we're going to help. And they changed their attitude a little bit. We don't know where he is. They sort of will help search and that kind of a thing. So now anything anybody does who knows about Brian can be charged with harboring, aiding and abetting, and that kind of a situation. But it's a sad situation, and I feel bad for everybody involved. Of course, Gabby's family, they were destroyed. I mean, they were beside themselves, and handled it with such grace. And I could never do that. I'd be on the plane. I'd be looking for him. I'd be walking through the swamp. Yeah, if it was my kids, grandkids, whatever it is. And I have my granddaughter is getting close to that age, and so I think right away, blonde, pretty young lady, and I think of my granddaughter. I said, my God, I'd load up with all my guns I got, go down and hunt the guy down.
Are they allowed to do that? Like, can her family also, can they go out there and look for him, or is that not allowed? I just wonder.
No, you could look as long as you're not interfering with anything. You could look.
Right.
You could do whatever you want. You can't carry guns, of course. But you could sort of look for it. You could help out and stuff like that. But like Gisela, your guess is as good as mine, as everybody else in the chat room. He could be anywhere, where he is, whether he's still in Florida, somebody's got him, somebody's harboring him, somebody's helping him, or he's in Mexico, he's in an island someplace, he boated off of Florida and that kind of a thing. He could be anywhere, and it may take. He could be in Cuba, for all I know.
Right, for all we know.
Yeah, he could be in Cuba with Joanne Chesimov from the Liberation Army from years ago. Right. I don't know. She's got $1 million bounty on her head. Yeah, but so I my guess is as good as everybody else's where he is. It's just that, and then of course I think of the charges, and a lot of people differ with me and stuff like that. I've seen these cases, and you never trust a jury. Never. They come back with a conviction, like an OJ jury, not guilty. Everybody. But I've been on hundreds of cases before the juries, and people that I've arrested. I mean, I've had them cold, and for whatever the reason, I'm not guilty comes back, right? Or the opposite way. I says, this is a crappy one. It's going to go the wrong way. Guilty, life, whatever the story. So this kind of a thing here, it's of course. It's going to be murder. It should be murder, in my opinion. The strangulation, and so they have a lot of information they're not releasing. There's a lot of personally, a lot of stuff the DNA they took off of Gabby, even though a lot of it was 3 weeks out in the element. But I'm sure the fingernail stuff and swabbing and skin tissue and that stuff. So I am sure that they have a wealth of evidence, circumstantial evidence. That's Bill Cannon's territory and Phil and those good folks. That's good. Super detective stuff and do the investigation. FBI involved. So he may get charged. Sadly, my thing is I've seen these cases like this go when it's family related a little bit. It may come down to sadly manslaughter because he could put up such 100 loopholes. He keeps throwing them at you. What, this and that, and how she was strangled, and then they were talking about sex brought into this. So
possibly.
Other nonsense. So it's
so if it is manslaughter, then how much time would someone like that do then?
He could do 10. He could do 12. It depends on which degree of manslaughter. It goes high. It go up to 15. But if it comes down to what the intent was, did he intend to kill, or just recklessly kill, that kind of thing? When there was no attempt to kill her. That lowers it down right away, and then that's how it gets dropped. So the idea is you're standing in line at the food store, and somebody pushes you. Get out of my way. And you push them back. Hey, don't push me. And the other person falls on a tile floor, bang, their head cracks open, you're charged with manslaughter. Because you didn't want to kill him. Right? There was no intent to kill. So it was like a reckless act. You survive, that person's dead, you're going for manslaughter. And you could wind up with 7 years, 10 years, and that kind of a situation. I just use that as a rough example.
Just an example. Exactly.
That kind of a thing.
Speculatively.
Yes, and it's all speculation on my part, and it's all opinion on my part. And they'll say, this guy's blowing smoke. What's this old cop talking about, this old lieutenant, come off here. But anyway, that's, that kind of a situation. Everybody, and I'm going to tell you, which is remarkable, the folks in the chat, I am astounded. They know a hell of a lot more than what I know. They are learning. They quote you the laws because they look up on the computer. They hear all the talk shows. They know the law A to Z, and they're coming out with better ideas. Oh, they should have did this. You know what? They're right. And what you said the other day on Bill's show, you had said about asking that magic question. First of all, about the sign for domestic abuse.
Yes.
And that, and talking to the young lady or the person and ask if she's safe. And then the other thing, a follow up the next day. Those are all make that mandatory, as part of the repertoire for police officers around the country. That when they come into, but as domestic violence cases, they are the most dangerous for law enforcement. You come into a home and they're knives at each other, and the brother shoots the brother, the father, the son. They wipe out complete families, and they cut each other up, and it's dangerous for the police officers. Oh my God, barricaded situations. You walk in, so Anyway,
I just don't want to miss what the sign is. So the sign is like this, and this, and like this. So if someone does this, or it would be like this, this, and this. So some people are asking, if you haven't seen the DV episode I did interviewing Diana Dessau, go check that out, because we did that at length, and how to have a safe exit strategy and all that kind of stuff. So if you ever see anyone doing that, just know they're in big, big trouble. Go up to them, ask them, are you okay? Are you safe? And maybe just take them gently away and just talk to them a little bit.
And until I saw that episode, and I'm as old as I am, I never saw it. I never heard of that before. I'm out of law enforcement. I don't know if all the cops, but I'm telling you, that is very, very smart. That's terrific. Yeah.
I've seen an example where someone was saying, delivering an Amazon package, and then the person at the door takes it, and someone behind them is doing the whole hello, meaning then call law enforcement and say at this address, this person was signaling for DV, so people can check it out. So it's actually very useful. I hope it goes very viral. It is already out there, but I hope more and more people learn about it, because it would be helpful.
Wonderful for law enforcement and for everybody, and especially
Yes. Are you still there? Please show the sign again, okay? Like this.
We went out.
I'm still there. In the
good.
meantime, I'm showing the sign. So it's a hand, right? Any hand, and you put your thumbs in, and then you just do that. Okay, so it's normally one hand like that. That's how it is. All right. And this one
Terrific.
says, Lieutenant Pranzo, how do you like being on YouTube? I would like to say bless you and thank you and Police of the Cuff and Deuteron for giving the public the facts and keeping it so real.
That's Scout. That's one of our great chat room friends. That's terrific. I thank you so much. I tell you, it's great. You know, it's nice to feel relevant again. And,
Yeah.
and that kind of, you know, really, you're so, as old as you are, you're still back in the game a little bit. Even my years are so
Yes.
far back, you know, and the stuff that I did. But it's nice to be part of it. And Rochelle interacts also, you know, my wife.
Yes.
So it's good. She's in the chat rooms and we go back and forth with the folks there. And so it's a little bit of fun. We do a couple hours a day in that besides our regular work stuff, writing and that kind of nonsense. But so it is good and we enjoy it. And people like you, God bless you, you're young, up and coming. It's going to be all yours.
Thank
I'm
you.
telling you, it's going to
And
be
you'll
yours.
be right there by my side.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Be right here and there. It would be great to
keep
have
our
you back
fingers-
on the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
this was the best. I really enjoyed it. And I thank you
Yes.
so much. And you're doing a great service. And what
Thank
you're doing
you.
for not only for supporting law enforcement, that's a big deal. And I saw what you did with the Deanna, was it the other day, with
Yes,
social
yes.
work, how that ties into law enforcement. That's a big deal. And the warning side for abused folks and people in bad relationships and everything else. That's a big deal,
Right.
you know. So you're doing you're doing a good public service. We appreciate that, you know.
Thank you.
Real.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we're all a great team over here. Thank you so much, everyone. They're saying, love your work. Go Grizz. Grizzle.
Carve it up.
Carve it up, everyone. Great to be here with Lieutenant Pete, they say.
Yes,
so now we've gone to the 90-minute mark. So we're going to have to call it a night so that even the mod squad and everyone can rest. But you are welcome back anytime. I can't wait for the movie.
Keep our fingers crossed,
release.
you know. Yeah.
Movie, the next book in 2029.
Yeah.
Right?
The grandkids will get all the money, you know. They will someday, right?
Right.
It's all
Yeah,
theirs. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they'll go to the
Right.
That they'll do. They'll go to the movies. Reading books is okay. They read it, but they'll go to the movies. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that'll be awesome. I'll definitely be there at the premiere.
with
the tests that I've taken from your site. I'm going to take those
there
tests.
you go.
There you go. Premiere, right? They all say thank you, sir, and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for all your chat room friends, and I thank you so much. You got so many supporters. I mean that, and for me to be on the show, it's an honor and a privilege. It's a treat.
It's an honor to have you here. Yeah, absolutely.
I thank you. Give the old guy a chance. That's nice, you know.
Yeah, many chances. They say, please have Lieutenant Pranzo back. We would love to have Lieutenant Pranzo back, especially to weigh in on some of the cases now and future cases. That would be amazing.
Thank you so much.
We've got to pick your brain. Yeah. So
the best.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to all the mods. Thanks for keeping the comments so nice and respectful. I really appreciate that. It's a nice, safe community. And we will see you. I'll see you soon again. And hopefully we'll both see you soon again as well. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much.